Project Management Power. So, Paul, the next program we're going to look at that you present is called Project Management Power. For somebody listening, can you define project management for us?
Project management can be very simple and it can be very complex. Basically, project management is the ability to successfully manage and control the multiple functions of achieving a corporate goal or objective. Let me explain that further. Perhaps you have to install a computer system into an organisation. Well, there are multiple functions. There would be installing the computer, selecting the computer, choosing software, training the staff, managing the risks of that particular project. And so project management is the ability to bring all those things together to ensure that it occurs on time, to budget, and within the required parameters.
Paul, your example's a good one. So in summary, what's the difference then between managing a program and managing a project?
These are two terms which people often get confused with. A project is any type of activity which has a start date and has a definite finish date. A program is something which is ongoing almost forever. To use the example I used beforehand, if we were going to install a computer system, it would start at a certain time and finish, let's say, by the end of this year. As soon as we have a finish date, we have a project. On the other hand, if we had to maintain the equipment and maintain the software, that'd be a program because there is no particular finish date.
We're dealing specifically with project management power here, of course, and earlier you talked about triple constraints of every project. It's not a term I've heard before. Can you explain what you mean?
A project has basically three elements, and that is a time frame. It has a start date and a definite finish date. It has a budget, and hopefully that stays on track. It also has a series of specifications. If it doesn't have these three elements, it probably isn't a project. The triple constraint is the process where we teach participants to understand which one of those three is the most critical to a project, and they can vary. For example, if you are building a house, it could be the time frame. That could be the triple constraint, meaning that it has to be built by a certain time of the year. If it's not, then there's all sorts of problems. In which case, if time is the major constraint, then the budget may blow out and the specifications may change to get it on time. On the other hand, let's say that budget was the major constraint, the triple constraint. If you've only got $10,000 to buy this computer equipment, and that's all you have and there's no more money in the budget, then what happens to your specifications?
Gone out the window.
All of a sudden, you might have to downspec if you can't reach that budget. And time, you may have to push time out or reduce time if you can't get around that triple constraint. Likewise, specifications. If you tell me that you must have a particular piece of software and it must do something, and you can't compromise on that, then what happens to the budget? You start spending more money, and also time goes out the window because it might take longer to build you this particular computer program. So the triple constraint is understanding which one of those three elements, time, budget and specification, is the most critical. Remember that when you're managing projects, one of those is always the most critical.
It's interesting because the focus of your answer really seems to depend on manipulation or flexibility of the people that are running the projects. And yet a lot of organisations will purchase expensive project management software to manage their projects. Would you recommend this approach? There seems to be a bit of a conflict.
I certainly wouldn't recommend this approach, not until the people that are managing your project understand how project management actually works. We have to remember that project management software is simply a tool. It is something to help you manage the project. It won't complete the project for you. And we've had people attend our program that have been trying to use these products for a period of time, and they haven't got a clue about how to manage the project.
They don't know the language.
They understand how to manipulate buttons on a computer screen, but not how to assess risk, how to manage resources, how to control cost, and how to schedule events and time.
Okay, so a key element in project management is the individuals and their ability to operate. We're leading then really to project management power. What are some of the key learning outcomes that I would receive from attending?
What you'll learn is how to structure a project from its inception to its completion. You'll realise that the most important part of any project is the upfront planning and that process which is involved in the planning of the project. I believe a lot of projects fail because they haven't been planned correctly. Also, you'll learn how to measure and monitor your projects using internationally accepted standards such as PERT charts, CPM diagrams, WBS structures. Now, if you're thinking, my goodness, what do all these things mean? You'll learn these on the day. What we often find is that we have people who are part of project management teams that are given these PERT charts and CPM diagrams and WBS worksheets, and they've got no idea what they are, how they work, and how they relate to the project. We will explain these on the day of the program so that when participants go back into their workplace, they understand how these things work. They don't have to be scared anymore when someone says, can you have a look at this CPM diagram? They know what that means.
So, Paul, by attending Project Management Power, it sounds like my level of skill around project management is going to go up very, very fast in the one-day seminar. What would be some of the types of projects that people could manage after attending?
I would hope that after a person attends the program, they'll be able to manage projects within their organisation, such as maybe the rollout of computer products, software, implementing new design works or new training programs. Anything involving themselves either as the project leader or as a team member. Probably what's important about this program is we're giving people maybe for the very first time an introduction into the world of project management. It can be very scary, and many people that are part of project teams are working on projects. They don't understand all the ins and outs of the project itself. We teach them how to identify the project, how to recognise it, and how to manage their part of the project successfully.